because there's bigger things than just yourself. There's more out there for us to go impact that we don't consider. We get so wrapped up in life. What is up, our fellow Legacy Ninja? One half of Legacy Digging with two native sons, Scott Brandt here. When we think about it, there's three important ideas to think about that you really need to tap into if you want to put your legacy out there and really make the impact that you truly want to make. Those three things that we think and we need to consider are: where do you see your worth in yourself? Where is your faith in yourself? And where are you at when it comes to commitments of what you're putting out? So these are the three things that you really got to tap into and ask yourself and see which one you're lacking in to strengthen, so that way we can get that legacy out there that you want to put out and create the impact in the world that you want to see. Other than that, Legacy Ninjas, enjoy this episode and we'll catch you later. It can be so interesting when we look at life and how convoluted it can get in regards to doing it this way or doing it that way. And then we get so lost in the sauce because we don't know truly what it is for us, what we want out of life, what we want to leave behind when we leave Earth, because this is just a small sliver of who we are. So as we discuss the idea of legacy, it's interesting because I heard this talk. It was talking about 3 pillars of life. And I look at this as 3 pillars that we have to tap into to really leave that legacy that you want to leave behind. Leave the impact that you want to leave behind, because there's bigger things than just yourself. There's more out there for us to go impact that we don't consider. We get so wrapped up in life because we have the microwave society, thank you Amazon, and then we lose sight of truly what we want to do. So when we think about it, the 3 pillars of what we really need to tap into to leave this legacy: 1 is know your worth, 2 is have faith in yourself, and 3 is you got to give 100% commitment to whatever it is that you're doing. Because if you don't give 100%, what makes you think you're going to in turn have something returned to you at 100%? So it's one of those things that we think about it. Money. We got a dollar bill that I'm looking at right now, and we put so much value into money. We look at the worth that money has. But then when we look at ourselves in the mirror as an individual, we don't hold the same worth for ourselves that we do for other things. And it's one of those things that maybe you are in a chapter of your life right now that's been tough. You've been beaten up, and it comes down to the fact that you don't know your true worth. And so you've got to tap into understanding the worth that you hold, that somebody else needs, by you extending it to them, by you showing up and playing big and being true to yourself. But because we've gotten beat up, we lose sight of that, or we listen to the opinions of others, and then we hold that opinion that somebody else has of us, and then we end up losing our true identity of who we are because we believe somebody else's opinion. Those opinions that somebody else has is based on their limiting beliefs that they hold, that they probably look at themselves in the mirror and it's the same thing that they see. So because of that, that's what they're pushing. But you have to understand, you are the only person. You're the one of one. And you have a gift and you have a message and you have a story that somebody else needs to hear. You're not going to resonate with everybody, but understand the worth that you have, that you can give to somebody else and really make a huge impact in the world, in society, because you showed up and played big and because you know the worth that you hold. But that also comes down to the fact that you have to audit who you have in your circle, who you're listening to, what you're feeding your mind, because that will play into how much worth you hold for yourself. Thinking about the faith in ourselves, this is going to be silly, this is going to be funny, but when we go to a chair, when we get to that chair, we don't go up to the chair and look and say, "Chair, are you going to hold me if I sit down?" It may sound silly because we do it every day. We pull a chair out, we sit down, hopefully it doesn't collapse on us. But how many of us are looking at that chair and saying, are you going to hold me? Do I have faith in you? You don't do that. You just show up, sit down in the chair. So it's the same thing here for yourself, that you have to have faith in yourself. You have to understand that sometimes the decisions that you make may not turn out like you want them to be made, or you have this idea for a business or a product and it ended up not turning out the way it was or the way you thought it was going to be, because things have to happen, pivots have to occur, but you have faith in that decision. And so, because you had faith in your decision, you have faith in yourself, your tribe is going to show up, because you're going to show up and play big and actually show up in a different way by having faith in yourself. The idea of mindset, how people go about coaching and trying to help people to overcome their mindset, there's multiple ways to get to the end results. One way for one person may not work for another person, but the person that's sharing that idea, that's putting it out there, has faith that it's going to work. And by having faith, they put it out there and people trust whatever it is. And then they tap into that and end up receiving the results that they want. But it goes back to having faith in yourself. And then the last thing is putting out 100%. So think about that. Part of the example is you go up to a machine that's holding a drink or a snack, whatever it is. You don't go up to the vending machine and say, okay, I see it's $1, but let me give you 50 cents. No, you give $1 and you get what you're given in there in regards to the price. So it's the same thing here, that when we are going and giving less than 100% of whatever it is that needs to take place, what makes you think you're going to receive 100% of the results? It's not going to happen. What you put out is what you're going to attract. That vibration, the energy, is what's going to bring into your life because of what you're putting out there. So sometimes it's going to be difficult. Sometimes it's going to be tough, because you're going to hit challenges, which is good. Embrace the challenges, because that's going to force you to level up and move forward. But you have to understand that you still got to put out that full effort, 100% commitment to whatever it is. Because there is a saying by Peter Vu, he says, 1% doubt, you're out. So think about that. If you're giving 99% commitment to whatever that is, you're holding that 1% back because maybe you doubt it's going to happen, or maybe you're questioning yourself. And because you leave that sliver, that door open for things to show up, it's not going to take place. So you have to understand and have that 100% commitment. But it kind of goes hand in hand when you think about it, of faith in yourself. All these things go hand in hand, but it's a matter of finding what it is that you need to work on to strengthen, to really extract and build that legacy. Because think about it, if you don't give 100% in the long run, what's that legacy going to look like? If you don't have faith in yourself, what is that legacy at the end of the day going to look like? If you do not see your worth and the value that you have, what is that legacy going to look like? So all this goes hand in hand, but it comes down to the fact that you have to figure out what it is that you need to work on to strengthen, to be able to go dig and extract that legacy, to leave behind, to impact the world in a bigger way, because you showed up and played big. You have to understand that you're 100% in everything. You're 100% centered to everything. And so because of that, what's taking place, you're the common denominator. So now you've got to go and think about it. What do you need to work on? Do you need to strengthen and understand the value that you have in yourself? Do you need to have faith in yourself? Or do you need to show up and give 100% commitment? One of those things that you have to do the deep dive on and figure out what that is for you. But if you don't know, you have your circle. Hopefully it's a close circle that's lifting you up and is pushing you forward. Ask questions if you don't know, because sometimes people know you better than you know yourself, especially because you're centered under everything. You're centered of that storm. You have outside eyes that can give you a different perspective. So this is just something to chew on, something quick to think about, but there's something that we're all struggling in, and it's up to you to determine what that is, so that way you can put your legacy out there, grow big, and make the impact that you want to make in society and the world.